V formation. Mighty good. Alright, so we're about to tackle the infamous Snake Hill. Now, the only thing about it is it's just windy. It's not the steepest in the world, but it's a little long. So remember your general techniques about going downhill. Set your feet back. Give yourself plenty of space, maybe a good 5 to 7 feet. Let's stay to the right in case any cars want to pass. And I'll see you guys at the bottom. Good so far. Come away from that curve a little bit. There you go. This is the back of the Crone.
And the Crone is what?
That's that glass house that the plant Crone Conservatory.
Okay. Where they had the vans and the food trucks were on the other side of it.
Yeah. Come away from that curve a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, sure is. Somebody's cooking something that smells good, Ricky. We may need to take a lunch break.
What's that?
Somebody's cooking something that smells good. We may need to take a lunch break.
Yeah, that may be Andy's. They have good food there. That's the Mediterranean, the green one. You like gyros? Oh, okay. Watch out for the potholes there. If you can't avoid them, just bend your knees and go right through them. There's one up here a little bit if you want to come out. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of nice restaurants up in Mount Adams. If you like sushi or Thai food, I would recommend Pete. They got the best sushi in town, in my opinion. They've been rated pretty high, too.
Is there a place up there still called St. Gregory's?
That's the street, St. Gregory Street, yeah.
Used to be a restaurant up there called that. It was beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Years ago, long time ago.
Okay. Watch out for that curve. And watch that phone usage. Yeah. You're going to bump right into it. Look at them going right into that door there.
Yeah.
They actually... Alright.
Can you go in there?
Looks like we made it down. Yeah, I don't see it coming out. Alright, everybody. Stay hill. Looks like.
No, they're just standing up there. They got a dog with them. They didn't go in.
So take a look at that building there. That kind of relates to Ellsworth Tower, what I pointed out before. That was the house that pumped water to that tower that pumped the water out through Water Hill. So if you guys heard of the term fireman syndrome, basically, let's go to the right a little bit. Let's let the car pass.
it backwards in that curve, you'll be stuck.
So basically, back in the day, firehouses used to be separate. They used to compete with each other. They were responsible for their own revenue, the amount of fires they put out. So you would have firemen in the middle of the night going out, sneaking out and starting fires. So they're different to be the one that can put the fires out. That's known as fireman syndrome. You guys come back in a little bit. And so what they did was they put all the firehouses under one jurisdiction, so they're not really competing with each other now. Right now it's kind of used as a workplace term where somebody starts a catastrophe in order so they can come in and save the day. That's fireman syndrome. But they put them all in one jurisdiction. But that was known as Firehouse 10. And the father and son bought that house, that firehouse, for $1. They were going to turn it to a brewery. That's the last thing is another brewery, by the way. They were going to call it Station X. So a little bit of symmetry there. Firehouse 10, Station X. Pretty sweet there, but the father and son, they couldn't get the $4 million worth of grants that they needed to remove all the asbestos inside. So that's talk about a health department violation there.
Indeed.
So it would have been nice to, have a beer after a Segway tour, but maybe one of these days we'll get that up and running. Now come down here, let's line up, battle formation style. We're going to cross the street all at once. Come down here, let's line up, facing the curb. You guys can go down there a little bit. There you go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cross the street all at once.
Car.
Go up to the curb. You guys come up here a little bit. There's space up here. Go up to the curb, step off like we normally do, come around to the front, and we're going to pull the machines up, or we're going to let the wheels do all the work. Don't use any effort. Let the machine do all the work here. You can come up there. There's a spot. All right. Let's count us off here. We clear down there? All right, let's cross. All right, charge. Step off. Yeah, go ahead. Go around to the front. Nice. There you go. Step off, miss. Let both wheels catch it. Just pull it. There you go. Nice. Now what you just experienced was what these were intended for wheelchairs to go upstairs. We didn't really, you guys can get back on them. We're going down this hill again. We didn't really get there, but I'm sure we'll get there one day.
Good. Good. Old-fashioned baseball. No gloves. Your dad would like to see that. Your dad would like to see that. No gloves or anything. That's a historical baseball. Wow. You should take your dad to see one of those games. think that was cool, probably. That was awesome, but I'll tell you, crashes always make the best video, Colleen. You gotta crash someplace.
Yeah. Just line up here. Kind of battle formation like we did. Alright, so I talked about the reservoir. This reservoir used to be open. I'll show you guys a picture of what it used to look like. This was about 50 or 60 years ago. That wall was completely encapsulated. They started tearing the wall down, but they eventually ran out of money. They started to find, bikes in here, body parts, cars in here. This is what the reservoir used to look like back in the day. Really nice architecture on that wall. Right now, the wall is used for just a climbing wall. If you just have a nice belayer, you can climb up on your own accord. Now, this is the last picture. This is what it looks like. This is an aerial view of the two reservoirs together. It's an aerial shot. Like I said, Mirror Lake caps the reservoir below it, but that's what they used to look like in conjunction. Yeah, pretty cool. Just a short 50, 60 years ago, this was like this. I had some people on tour that they said their parents used to swim in there.
About over. This is the end of it. It was fun. Didn't go over by what? Different tour, maybe.
wrapping up with that gazebo story, the murder, the grisly murder that happened. So, anybody had to read The Great Gatsby or at least see the movie?
Mm-hmm.
You did? George Remus is basically what the story is about. He was a guy, he was a prohibition guy, illegal bootlegger, smart guy, savvy guy. He was a pharmacist and a lawyer. He was from Chicago, but he moved down to Cincinnati. He didn't want to compete with Al Capone. Capone was a kind of a break your legs kind of guy. George Remus was just as soon as pay you off, bribe you, grease the wheel a little bit. So he moved down here. He set up a lot of illegal distilleries, speakeasies. He was a pretty smart guy. He was making money hand over fist. He would send out goons to rob his liquor trucks, or send out goons to rob his speakeasies. He would recollect the liquor and recollect the insurance money on the trucks. He would also have a pharmacy where he would prescribe liquor for a person that, maybe need help sleeping, things like that. So he was making a lot of money. Estimated about $40 million in his estate. Made more than Capone. $40 million is a lot now, so it was a lot back in the Depression era also. So basically, one story that they talk about, he invited 50 couples to his house. He said, don't worry about your transportation, I'll provide that on your way home. At the dessert, the waiter lifted up the tray. There was an entree, keys to a brand new Pontiac for all 50 couples.
Wow.
All the ladies got new gold watches. So he's pretty lavish with his money, gave out a lot, wealthy guy. But like all gangsters, what do they get caught for? Not the actual crime, but
Tax evasion.
Tax evasion. He got pinched on tax evasion, did 2 years in Atlanta. FBI didn't get all his money though, so they sent the undercover guy, Franklin Dodge, to be a cellmate. And basically, he basically sent undercover. I just noticed I forgot to give him the keys. So they sent him undercover to find out where he's hid his money. He starts spouting off. He's saying, I'm going to be fine. All my money's up in Cincinnati with Imogene. All my money's up north with Imogene. I didn't realize that. All my money's up in Cincinnati with Imogene. I'll be fine. So Franklin Dodge gets the idea. He starts courting Imogene Remus. He starts seducing her, basically. He quits the FBI. He convinces Imogene. They start Colleen up, and basically Imogene Remus sends George a Dear John letter. She says, here's $100. I want a divorce. Me and Franklin will take the rest. So you can imagine what kind of rage that George had at this. So eventually they decide on divorce. They're going to a court hearing, and they're coming down Fulton, and George sees Imogene's car. He tells his driver to run her off the road because he's just so insane with rage. He runs her off. She stumbles down here to this garden. George takes out a revolver, shoots her 3 times in the stomach. She has on a black dress right in front of their daughter. George tosses the gun. He immediately calls the cops, says, I don't know what just happened. I think I just killed my wife. So he turns himself in, and they go to trial for this. And it took the jury about 19 minutes to deliberate. And what was the verdict?
Innocent.
Innocent, not guilty. Temporary insanity. He was the first case to get off on temporary insanity. His argument was that I loved Imogene so much I couldn't imagine her in love with another man. So I shot her. Now, he had to do about 8 months in an insane asylum. Once he got out, he had one of those lavish parties, and rumors had it that all those jury members were at that party. So you can imagine what kind of Rolexes they got. Kind of an epilogue to that, about 8 years later, a little boy doing an Easter egg hunt found the gun in those bushes over there. So it's probably in some museum somewhere. George Remus is on. If you ever seen that show Boardwalk Empire, he's a character on there. HBO. It's about Prohibition. Pretty good show. But yeah, and Mount Adams Bar and Grill, that's actually one of the speakeasies. That's up on St. Gregory. check that out if you get a chance, if you guys come do lunch or something. But that pretty much wraps up the tour. Thank you guys for coming out. Let you guys know a couple other tours, the Riverfront tour. That is a few more streets to cross, but a lot more to see because we're taking through several parks. Smale Park, Friendship Park, Eagles Cove, all that. Spring Grove Cemetery tour is another one. It's an arboretum, so arboretum I should say. It's a lot of plant life. Check that out, and it's more of a free-for-all. We give you a map and a segue, and they'll just say come back in an hour kind of thing. And then there is the downtown tour. If you want something a little more content heavy than when I shared, we got a guy, his name is Chris on staff. He's a historian at the library, so we call him Christorian. And he's basically like Rain Man when it comes to history. He'll give you a private tour, take you through OTR, things like that. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for coming out. There'll be a tip jar if you guys feel so inclined, but just leave reviews either way. Let us know what you feel about it. Whoever booked this will get an email how you liked it. Just say what we can change, what we can do better. Basically, if you liked it, I'm Ricky, and that's Cam. If you hated it, I'm Miguel, and that's Sanchez.
No problem.
You guys could do a victory lap around the Mirror Lake, and then just come back up to the barn. Yeah.
That was fun.
I can't remember the name of the place that Dad and I went. I wonder if that was one of his speakeasies.
I don't know.
They had one from there that was good.
I don't remember the name either, but I know you got it somewhere.
Yeah. I think I have a picture of the song.
It's all right. It doesn't want to go faster. It keeps kicking back.
Yeah.
I was going to goose that goose and it jumped in too sick. It was a goose. It was expected. Couldn't not do it. I'm going to take another lap. Really doesn't like that. Lean too far forward, it shudders like that. Did that when I was off in the grass too. It's like, huh, that's a problem. Yeah, I could stand to have a couple of these, Colleen. Then we gotta figure out how to make them go faster.
Don't have a governor on it.
Don't have what?
One of the governor things.
We need to make high performance ones, racing segways. Build some ramps, cool stuff. What's that? It'd be awesome. Could do stunts like the Nitro Circus and Travis Pastrana. Do backflips on them. We could be the first ones to do backflips on a Segway. I gotta run the camera. You need to crash at least once for Randy. I mean, think about Randy. Do the grass, it's fine. Yeah, how happy that'd make him to see it. I promised to turn the camera off. Let's just make a break for it. Let's not go back. We take the vests off, they won't recognize us.
No, one down.